Yo, I for real heard you got married to a golden retriever human hybrid. Is that true?
Like my grandma used to say, anything goes in the pod.
This is Nothing Gained
Nothing ventured.
with Allison.
And Virgil.
Oh, well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Dr. Oz's legal team's favorite podcast. This is Nothing Gained, Nothing Ventured. Isn't that right, Allison?
That's right. Dr. Oz is this week's sponsor, as a matter of fact.
Dr. Oz, do you like a doctor that seems like he got his medical degree from an online medical school? Well, then go for Dr. Oz.
You should listen to Dr. Oz.
Yeah, yes, you should, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But first off, Allison, what do you have to say about Trump bucks?
We called it, man, a couple weeks ago.
Called it.
Our listeners might remember we talked about Trump bucks and like that was going to be the new currency. And so this week, with the stimulus checks coming out, for those of us who don't have direct deposit, you'll be getting a check that has Trump's name on it, as if he wrote you a personal check from his checkbook.
And we know that's not true because unless you're a porn star, he's not making any direct payments to you. But
No.
hey,
You got to extort Trump in order for him to make a direct payment to you. But
well, I guess in a way this is kind of extortion. We're like, look, we'll either all die of coronavirus or you pay us $1,200.
But what do you think is behind this? I mean, is it a simple thing like, some people say he's just a narcissist and this is another way of feeding that part of him? Or is there something more sinister behind him putting his name on the stimulus checks?
You know what? I honestly don't think there's something more sinister behind it because, I mean, look at the dude. He puts his shitty name on everything. I mean, from buildings to failed schools, to failed steaks, to failed whatever. I mean, he just slaps his name on it because he's like, look, it's right there. It says Trump. It's Trump's.
Well, and in the case of, like, I guess, a Trump Tower, it is it's his family business's tower,
Yeah.
but that money is not coming from Donald Trump
Yeah.
at all.
It's not.
So
Maybe that's the play though, is because his base is like, these checks are coming directly from Donald Trump, and it's like, no, they're not. It's our tax money. We're just getting some of our tax money back.
we're basically paying ourselves. I'm writing a check to myself.
Right. It's like, where do people think we have plenty of money to go to war, and we know where that money comes from. It comes from us. So why, when the money comes back to us, is it all of a sudden a gift? It's like, no, I paid for that.
Well, when I'm lying awake in bed, as so many of us do these days, I have thoughts that are maybe not, they're conspiracy theory adjacent. And so I was thinking,
I think that's the tagline for this whole podcast. We're conspiracy theory adjacent, okay?
yes, yeah, not true conspiracy theorists, but sometimes we sort of, skim on that border. But I was thinking about the name on the checks, and I was thinking, is this some way of him being able to later say, I, the king, gave you, the plebs,
Yeah, plebes, plebs, plobs.
I gave you the plobs that money. And so you are beholden to me because I gave you that money.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, you saw the press conference this week where he was like, look, the president's authority in terms of opening up America is total.
Total.
I mean, seriously, can you get any closer to saying you're a totalitarian than saying that you're...
It.
Yeah, he really did.
And it was like on the news for maybe a fraction of a second. That's how inured we've become to his batshit well, I was gonna say batshit insanity, it's oxymoron, to his batshittery. I mean, we don't even care anymore if he's like, I am the king, I have total authority. But as I was saying to you earlier today, I think it's really interesting because one of the Republicans' favorite lines is states' rights.
States' rights. You know what? That's all the South wanted. They wanted states' rights. That's all they were fighting for.
And everything's up to the states' rights. Like, you all can do whatever the fuck you want, states' rights.
Yep.
Except for when Dr. Oz is whispering in your ear to open the country, in which case the states don't have any rights, according to Donald Trump.
Yeah. That's a good analogy. Dr. Oz is definitely the worm tongue of this fucking whole situation. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's like, states' rights, states' rights, states' rights, until it's Andrew Cuomo, and then it's like, oh, it's the goddamn Dems, they're ruining everything. Never mind with states' rights, the president's rule is total.
Did you hear about that pastor in Virginia? And I'm not trying to laugh at anyone's untimely death, but, there've been I think it was Virginia or maybe it was Kansas. I always want to blame Virginia for everything.
Probably Virginia. Out of those two, probably Virginia.
But, there have been these pastors here and there in certain states who have basically said, fuck this social distancing. Jesus will keep us safe.
Yeah.
Well, one of the first pastors to do that and hold these mega church gatherings in his state, whether it was Virginia or Kansas, and I'm sorry, Virginia and Kansas, I don't want to act like you two are interchangeable because you're certainly not. Not in our hearts. And he died this week of coronavirus.
Yeah.
He fucking died of coronavirus after defiantly holding these mass gatherings and telling his followers that Jesus would save them from getting sick.
I wonder, what your process of regret would be over that. Do you think he was still laying in the bed like, nope, Jesus has got this. He's going to take care of it.
I don't know. I mean, did he deny medical care when he was sick? I mean, that's what I always wonder about people who are this fervently religious, where they think, whatever their almighty is going to fix everything. So when they do get sick, do they just say, oh, no, I don't need a ventilator. Jesus has got this.
No, I'm sure he just called up Dr. Oz and was like, hey, get over here with a pound of morphine and let's handle this.
Dr. Oz wouldn't give anybody morphine. He'd give you like a salve or a balm or something that he had cooked up in his laboratory. I doubt Dr. Oz has a laboratory.
He'd call up Gwyneth Paltrow and give the doctor one of those pain-reducing
giant candles.
Yeah.
Right.
What a
candle.
I wonder, hey, if Gwyneth Paltrow's listening to this, what's up? How you doing? How's coronavirus treating you? Are you staying safe, or do you have a new line of products coming out where you shove an antiviral into your eyeball?
I sure hope so, because I rely on Gwyneth Paltrow's products to see me through difficult times. I don't know about you, but
Can you imagine if those were your two leading medical experts in your life, Dr. Oz and Gwyneth Paltrow?
There are fucking people out there for whom that is true.
Absolutely. We've worked with multiple people that I think we could qualify under the Dr. Oz Gwyneth Paltrow medical duo.
Flagstaff and Sedona. Love them both, but they are full of, and I feel like, every time we are on this podcast, we're shitting on Sedona. I'm not. Sedona is beautiful. This podcast is sponsored by Sedona.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place, but, people have a certain set of beliefs in Sedona that seem to carry their way up to the top of our fair mountain.
To be fair, we've only talked shit about Sedona one other time here, and it was just to talk shit about their vortexes.
That's right. But, when we're all descending on the vortexes in a month from now, the vortex will have the last laugh.
Yeah, it will. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we just need to just get it done.
But didn't
start
the
descending.
Mayor of Sedona basically say, 2 weeks ago, get the fuck out of here? And I think probably speaking to Phoenicians, but
Yeah. Who's the mayor of Sedona? Marianne Williamson?
it should be. It should be. But I don't know who the mayor of Sedona is. If someone knows who the mayor of Sedona is, drop it in the comments.
Yeah, drop
We
us
don't
a
know.
line. Drop us a line to teach us about our own local governments.
I know it's a woman, a white woman.
Okay. So
As though that would
progressive.
be surprising in Sedona.
Yeah, progressive, but not too progressive. I think that's a good slogan for Sedona.
Right, progressive, but yeah, take it easy.
Yeah. Don't go getting crazy. So, Allison, tell me, have you been having any COVID related dreams lately?
No, I haven't, and I think that might have to do with the fact that I have metastatic stage 4 breast cancer, and so when I do dream about disease, I dream about that.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's crazy, but no, I've heard that people have been having COVID dreams. Have you been having COVID dreams?
I haven't been having any dreams at all. I don't dream a whole lot. I never have. I don't know why. Although I do oddly like talk in my sleep and sometimes walk in my sleep. So maybe that's why I don't have dreams. I don't know. If there are any dreamologists out there,
I
drop
think
me a line.
most of the world right now has abandoned dreams, both in sleep and in life.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think
now's not the time for dreaming, which is ironic because this whole pandemic started off with people singing that John Lennon song.
oh my fucking God.
That was real cute. Now, now where are we? Thanks for dreaming with John Lennon early on.
Oh my God, we need to talk about that for a second.
Okay.
So I just heard about that about a week ago. I'm a little behind the curve. I also just watched The Matrix for the first time 2 days ago.
Welcome to the 21st century of American film, Allison. We welcome you.
Just as a quick aside about The Matrix, when I started watching it, I was lying in bed and I was trying to fall asleep, and I thought, oh, I'll watch The Matrix. Because I've never seen it.
Nothing says fall asleep like a 3-hour action movie filled with gunfights.
It's long, and I didn't know there was so much shooting. Like, I started it, and I thought, I must have clicked on the wrong thing. This can't be The Matrix. I thought The Matrix was all philosophical and, like, slow motion kung fu and shit like that. But it was nice because I suddenly started getting a lot of pop culture references that I hadn't gotten before, like the guys in the shades and the suits.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was from Men in Black, but it turns out that's from The Matrix.
Yeah, you could definitely confuse those two.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't that impressed. I mean, granted, it's a 21-year-old movie.
Yeah. That's like saying you weren't very impressed with fucking Casablanca. I mean, yeah, okay, I get it, but
I don't like the special effects in Casablanca. It just didn't do it for me.
Yeah,
Acting was a little cheesy. So there was that. In any case, I think the solution is more Zoom videos of celebrities singing really
John Lennon
ball songs. So like they done John Lennon, they did John Lennon. So now they need to move on to like Bridge Over Troubled Water or Ebony and Ivory. Like I don't even fucking.
Oh my God.
Like we need more Zoom and more Zoom singing. Have you been on many Zoom calls, Virgil, in the last?
I've been in the last month. I've been on at least 5, and that is 5 more than I had ever been on in my entire life.
I hate them so much. I am on Zoom every single day because that's been the primary way that I've been in touch with my students and my coworkers. And I hate it because it's awkward. Nobody being me, I never look good on those things. And it's drudgery. It's drudgery.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to say to somebody, hey, let's meet at, the coffee house at 2:00 or meet in this conference room at 1:00 instead of like, you got to fucking go onto your calendar, set up a meeting, invite people, make sure they've got the link, make sure the link is working, make sure the audio. I mean, like, oh my fucking God. Like, why can't we just cancel everything?
Yeah. And too, I mean, what are we going to do about the lack of money going around? I mean, they just said that 3 million people were like laid off last week, I think. And so what is going to happen? I mean, we're not even thinking about the long-term solution for the economy. I mean, it's not like we're going to come out of all of this and then all of a sudden things are just going to get back to normal. You've got so many small businesses right now that are just done. I mean, they didn't get their stimulus for small businesses fast enough. I mean, there's little, like, all the little tea shops, all the little coffee shops that are like locally owned, all of the little bakeries and stuff that are in your area. All of those things are probably going to close.
Well,
And so,
isn't that great though for Walmart, Target, Starbucks?
I think it's as if they needed the help with competition. They were all like,
listen. Trump has in his desk drawer a stack of personal checkbooks. And every month he's going to write each American a beautiful check, a check like they've never seen before.
A check that's never been written before. You've never seen a check like this.
It's going to be big. He's going to write big checks like those novelty checks.
He's going to send each of us a fucking novelty check. You hear the mailman pull up to the fucking mailbox and you hear him like struggling to like stuff it into the mailbox.
Can you imagine trying to get one of those in the deposit slot at a drive-thru?
You're just like, you take like a oar from a boat to like jam it in there. Oh my God.
Oh, Trump's going to be the new Ed McMahon. He's going to personally start showing up at everybody's house in a van.
Hey, guess what? You get a stimulus check.
With Oprah.
Yeah. You get a stimulus check. Yeah, where's Oprah at? I thought she was going to run for president someday.
Well, she seems like the type of celebrity who'd be like singing John Lennon or some shit during this.
Yeah,
something.
Some folksy, nonsensical thing.
Or recommending a book for us to read.
I wonder what's going on with Oprah's book club.
I think that's been defunct for a while now, but I could be wrong. Maybe we need Oprah's book club right now. Maybe we need her to tell us to read, the 22 people you meet in heaven or whatever the fuck that book was called. What do you think? And I wonder if there's data on this anywhere, and you know how I love data.
Yeah, you're very data driven. I know that.
Very data driven. I wonder what like the most popular food items are during the pandemic. What are people buying and eating a lot of?
Man, I don't know. Probably pizza. I would say pizza.
Frozen pizzas.
Yeah. We actually took a risk and ordered pizza yesterday. It was the first
risk.
Yeah. That's how
you're brave.
I mean, yeah.
You should be in Profiles in Courage.
You know what? I actually submitted an essay to them about the endeavor of yesterday. It started off, have you ever wanted pizza so bad you would die for it? Well, I did,
What kind of pizza, like, from whom were you willing to die?
From whomst?
From whomst. Like, I hope it wasn't like Papa John's or some shit.
Yeah, I was fucking Papa John's. I was like, I need to eat 40 pizzas in 30 days. I need to sweat pizza out of my body. No, it was from Nemarco's.
Oh, good. If
Yeah,
there's
so
any, this is a good plug for New Marco's. If there is any pizza chain in town that I'd be willing to die for, it would be New Marco's.
yeah, yeah, me too. So sponsor us, give us money
Give us
and free,
money.
and free pizza.
Give us a stimulus check
Yeah, yeah.
in
We need
novelty
another.
form.
We need another stimulus check in novelty form.
Yeah, I feel like we've been eating a lot of pasta.
Okay.
We have ordered out though. I mean, we've taken some risks, so we're brave too, like you, Virgil.
Wow, we should both submit an essay.
Profiles in courage, and especially shit. I shouldn't be in contact with anybody,
Yeah.
but sometimes I need some tomka soup. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make that.
Yeah.
I don't have lemongrass just laying around my house.
Yeah, that reminds me of like all of these top tier chefs are like doing these at home cooking lessons or whatever, and they always start off by saying like, I'm going to teach you how to make a very simple dish with ingredients that you have around your house. And then like the first thing they mention is like, so you're going to need a pound of exotic South American black truffles, 3 gallons of pure whale oil, 4 milliliters of chicken grease. That one, is optional. But then you're also going to need at least a pound of beluga caviar.
You don't have beluga caviar in your fridge?
No, I mean, we ran out at the beginning of quarantine, and my supplier isn't really getting back and forth with me very much.
Oh, because we stocked up on that and toilet paper.
Hey, I mean, those seem about equal in importance too. So.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
No, because you be eating a lot of beluga caviar, you're gonna need to poop. That is for sure.
Are you a fan of caviar?
I've never had it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, when this is over, we'll change that. We'll get a little caviar so you can have a taste.
Oh, wow, fancy.
It's salty. It's salty.
That's what I've heard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you got to get the good stuff. Like you probably want to get like Walmart brand caviar.
Walmart brand caviar, price value caviar.
That's their brand, right? Price value.
Price. I think so. Yeah, it's
or like Walgreens brand is nice caviar.
Yeah, nice caviar. Or what's the Kroger brand caviar?
I don't know what I've never been in a Kroger.
I think that's just like the general brand, like general basic brand for like grocery stores. What's Bash's one? What's
Good value?
Good value. Is it good value?
Good value caviar. And then Target, of course, tries to like make it seem like it's not a Target brand. It's Archer Farms.
Oh yeah.
Archer Farms caviar.
Yeah, they do that. They do that with everything. Like their clothing brand, they call it like Goodfellow and
like just be honest with me.
Jesus, I know it's fucking a burlap sack cut into a fashionable design. Just let me know off the offset.
Just level with me. I know Target made this shit, so just call it what it is. Target brand pants.
And I'm already in a Target in the clothing section, so we already know I have no self-respect. So who cares if it's fucking non-Target brand?
I've bought clothes from Target. Everybody's bought clothes from Target.
Actually, in terms of clothing, Target is probably the best like general department store for clothing that isn't like clothing focused. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they've got better clothing than Walmart, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to buy clothes from a big box store, it'd probably be Target.
Yeah.
So they don't need to lie to me with these fake brands that they've made up. Just call it what it is.
Unless I need Tiger King brand clothing, and then I'm gonna go to Walmart. You know what I mean?
Are they selling that at Walmart?
I don't know. It just seems like something they would sell there.
Never finished Tiger King. Did you?
No, I haven't even started it. I've been rewatching Breaking Bad.
Great series.
Yeah, also sponsored by Stage
For
4
cancer.
metastatic cancer. Yeah.
That's true. He's doing a hell of a lot more as a cancer patient in that show than I could ever aspire to.
But-
Like I can barely get out of my pajamas, and he's
But your stories are so similar. You're a high school English teacher. He was a high school chemistry teacher. You both get diagnosed. It's just you can't write a book about meth and have the same effect, and he could
well,
cook
and,
meth.
right. He was a science teacher, so like of course, like what am I going to do? Like fucking write and sell poems out of a van? I mean,
illicit poems.
right, right. Teach you how to diagram a sentence out of a van. Like I'm sure I'd be having to hide the cash from Sarah if I was doing that.
Oh, hell yeah. You roll up on somebody, you're like, look, motherfucker, this is a preposition. They're like, a proposition? No, a preposition.
It just doesn't work for English teachers that way. As we're talking, in the background, I have news on CNN specifically.
Yeah.
And the president is right now briefing the nation, and he's proposing, according to what's running across the feed, a 3-phase opening of the country. Now,
Oh my God!
we'll figure out what that means, once we're done podcasting and can read up. But what would you guess, like, is a 3-phase opening of the country? Like, what's phase 1?
Phase 1 is getting coronavirus to sign a non-disclosure agreement with America. Phase 2 is threatening the coronavirus ever so often through the media so that coronavirus knows that Trump knows everything that's gone on. And then I think the final phase would be opening up America and letting everyone die in record numbers.
I can't come up with a better guess than what you just did. And I think that's going to work. I feel really confident that that's going to work.
I think so too. I mean, history has taught us that, getting it to sign a non-disclosure agreement pretty much solves everything. You know what I mean?
Even when it comes to viruses.
Speaking
Why
of,
didn't I have the Parvo sign a fucking non-disclosure agreement before?
you should have.
Spent
I
all this
mean,
money.
you just kind of let it go free. It damaged your dog. I mean, you should be suing Parvo for damages.
I'm gonna start a Twitter, and I'm gonna threaten Parvo nonstop on Twitter.
Yeah, you know what you've done. Have you seen the Council for Reopening America?
I've heard about it. It's like the CEO of like
It's Steve Mnuchin.
Walmart.
It's Steve Mnuchin, the CEO of Walmart. I think Vince McMahon, the CEO of the WWE.
What?
Tell
me you're kidding.
Fucking Jared Kushner, because of course. And what's Ivanka Trump.
Vince McMahon. Are you sure about that?
I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to look that up later.
Well, you're telling us about this task force. I'm going to do a little
do a little
Googling.
thinking. But so anyway, it's all old. It's like all old white dudes, and then Kushner and Ivanka, and that's it. And it's like, oh, good. Yeah, they seem like they can really handle everything. I bet they're going to be like, look, So you're saying that nobody set up a trust fund to sort of fight this or anything? Because I really don't know what to do if we don't have a trust fund set up. I'm at a loss.
So you're right about Vince McMahon, and I
That
there are
must
few
mean
things
too
that
that
shock me anymore, but what? Why would the guy who runs the WWE need to do anything with regard to coronavirus
I
or
don't know. It's the same reason. I mean, why the fuck is Jared Kushner in every fucking thing
hey,
they do? Oh, sorry. Yeah, my
Jared
apologies.
Kushner can do anything.
My apologies. I forgot he was the Mr. Fix It.
Yeah. Of all problems, big and small. Like he'll come to your house and like if you have a leaky faucet,
He'll tighten that up right away.
yeah.
Wonder if he's going to be the one delivering the stimulus, the giant novelty stimulus checks.
I think he and Eric Trump will be doing.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? My dad says that this is your check, so have your check and thank my dad.
I always thought it was embarrassing when presidential kids who are grown talked about the president as my dad. You know who
My
else
dad.
did that? George W. Bush. When he
Yeah, of
wanted
course.
to attack Iraq, he was like, Saddam Hussein tried to kill my dad.
Tried to kill my father.
He said, it's like, I get that. I understand it's your father. It's your dad. It should have no place in discourse around how the federal government functions. I don't give a fuck what happened to your daddy. I mean, it's not even about.
Well, you can't. Can you really blame them? I mean, they only got to be president because of their fathers. You know what I mean? So it would only stand to reason. And like Ivanka's only where she is, and Trump's sons are only where they are because of Trump. So it's like, of course, you've always got to be. Well, Daddy says we can do whatever we want.
Oh, one of those fuckers is probably gonna be president after him.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be Trump, then Ivanka, then Don Jr., then fucking Barron probably.
Yeah, he'll be old enough by then.
Yeah. I wonder what his life is like.
Barron?
Yeah.
Pretty good, I would think.
God,
I'm not really worried about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about him either. Although I would be worried about his eating habits. Just feed him Kentucky Fried Chicken. We're getting paid off of advertisement through them, so just have him eat Kentucky Fried Chicken for a month.
But if you were a kid, wouldn't you be delighted? I mean,
yeah, he'd be delighted, but he'd also be dead at the age of like 23 from high cholesterol.
Right.
Although you never know. I mean, Trump just keeps pounding it down his gullet, and he's like 80 years old. So
I noticed that he looked recently like maybe he shed a pound or two. He looks a little less bloated.
Probably because all of the McDonald's are closed.
That's true. Well, he's got a chef that makes him McDonald's. So.
Oh, that's right.
The McDonald's sous chef.
I forgot he told the White House chef to make him McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oh my
God, if you had a chef, can you imagine that? You have a chef who can make you literally anything and it'll be delicious. It's going to be like fucking mind-blowing. And you say you want them to make you something that tastes like McDonald's.
You're like, look, just make me chicken tendies and some French fries and ketchup.
I mean, if I was 8 and I had a personal chef, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like to think my palate has become more sophisticated as I've aged.
Can you imagine? You're one of the world's top chefs. You just graduated from Le Cordon Bleu in France, and you're headed back. You're headed back to the States because the president of the United States wants a top tier chef, and you get in there and you think to yourself, I'm going to expand my capabilities like never before. I'm going to make dishes for the president of the United States that have never been seen in the culinary scene. And then you get in there and he's like, so what are the logistics of making a Big Mac?
The logistics. Yeah, that'd be pretty soul crushing.
You think he like when the chef got there, he like set up a meeting in the war room with all the defense generals and shit, and he's like, so let's map it out. What are the logistics for making a Big Mac with extra large French fry?
He turned the White House kitchen into a McDonald's kitchen. Just like fryers and fucking griddles.
Fucking grease so thick on the floor that you're just kind of like gliding around.
Broken ice cream machines.
It's still broken. It's like, look, it's not. He goes to go get some ice cream, like, can I get a cone? And they're like, sorry, sir, it's broken. He's like, oh, just like the real McDonald's.
Right, it came pre-broken, so you could have the authentic McDonald's experience.
He got it from the McDonald's he ate at before he became president.
Right.
They offer him a top tier chef, and he's like, actually no, I'd like the chef from the McDonald's by my house.
Right. He wanted to stick with the McDonald's chef that he was most comfortable and familiar with. Chef at McDonald's.
Yeah, chef in air quotes.
Oh man. Well, what else have you got for us, Virgil?
Allison, I think that's about it. There wasn't a ton of like funny stuff in the news this week. It was just a bunch of the same old absurd nonsense. But
Yeah,
what about you, Allison?
Well, I was just going to agree. The pandemic is getting less funny by the day. I mean, I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell why. Maybe because we're all fucking miserable because this is like day 50 million.
Yeah, what day is it? I think it is like day 50,121.
I kept count for a good amount of time, but I think around like day 23, I like stopped counting because I was like, this is going to be a lot longer than I can count. I don't know how to count very well is what I'm telling America right now.
No, I don't know how to count well at all. If this social distancing has to be in effect until, what'd you say, 2022?
Oh, God, I hope not.
What do you see that future looking like?
I mean, I don't know. We're seriously, if this is a long-term thing, we're gonna have to like restructure America. We can't go years with the current structure we have right now. There's just no way. I mean, nobody's making any money. People are just going to stop making rent payments out of necessity, not even because they don't want to. It's because they can't. I mean, there's just no money to be made.
Well, you're just a ray of sunshine. Can't you find a silver lining in this pandemic and mass death and chaos?
You know what? Somehow, Allison, maybe today's just a downer day, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of silver lining out there. And if there is silver lining, it's fucking tinfoil, And
you are no Marianne Williamson.
Oh no.
She was all about bringing the hope. She would have been great right now as the Democratic nominee.
Oh yeah, sure. She'd have been great. She'd be like, look, just wash your hands with quartz and that'll kill everything.
I am gonna wash my hands with quartz. I mean, it can't fucking hurt at this point. Like, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to do, America? Tell me. Yeah. And I'll do it. Because I've had it. Yeah.
I'll wrap my fucking body in plastic wrap if it means I can go outside again.
I'm not even that social of a person. Like, I hang out with you and Sarah and occasionally some of my friends from work. But, I normally like to be, hunkered down in the house. But this is too much.
Well, it's, I think a lot of people forget the little ways in which they get social interaction every day that add up to be a lot of social interaction. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
because every day you and I are either, well, before quarantine, every day you and I were at work for at least, 5, 6, 7 hours a day, 8 hours a day. Um, and then, you would go to bar class, I would go to the gym, going to the grocery store. I mean, even when we go to the grocery store now, it's not a social experience.
No.
It's like something out of, fucking out of a dystopia. It's like something out of Handmaid's Tale, where we're all just kind of like meandering around, not talking to anyone out of fear.
Or looking at anyone for that matter. Yeah. And
I,
trying to just avoid people.
yeah, I'm waiting for them to start implementing Aunt Lydia's all over the place to like keep track of us to make sure we're not talking to anyone out in public.
I did something in a grocery store recently. I'm trying to stay out of grocery stores, but occasionally I do have to go to a grocery store that I'd never done before. That was so representative of the pandemic and all of this quarantine shit. So you know how like you'd go into, say, a Safeway and you'd need to get a can of black beans. And the aisle, let's say it was a Saturday afternoon, the aisle's like jam packed with people, and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Like, and all you have is a basket, and so you're like, like ramming your way through the people with their carts.
Yep.
That will never happen again. And I saw it and I participated in it at a grocery store last week where there was one person in the aisle I needed to get into. One person. And instead of like just kind of going around her, I went all the way around the aisle and then waited until she moved.
You're like just sitting there like, okay, are you out yet? Or okay, I'm coming in into the aisle.
Like one person per aisle. One person per aisle.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're feeling this sense of dread and panic, like, I hope this person doesn't get close to me, and I like, what if they have the coronavirus? And yeah.
Oh,
I'll never get to ram my way angrily through the bean aisle at Safeway ever again.
yeah. I mean, yeah, again, there's no telling what life is going to be like after this is all over, but it's not going to go back to exactly the way it was. There's going to have to be changes. I really think we're going to have to make infrastructure changes in terms of how bars are organized, how grocery stores are organized, because now we're really realizing that pandemics, if another one like this hits and it's worse, we're in trouble because we don't respond fast enough. You know what I mean?
Well, I think with lightening the load in certain places like bars and restaurants, if Flag Brew is listening right now, we really like your patio in the summertime, but it's often too crowded. Too many people, too many dogs, too loud.
Yeah.
If you could just limit that to like 5 people.
Yeah.
7 people.
And preferably 2 of those people should always be me and Allison at all times.
That would be really, since we proposed the idea. I mean, you don't have to give us money. And you don't even have to give us free drinks. You just have to always have a table, preferably under a tree, get some shade.
Yep.
Reserved for us all summer long.
Yep. Yeah. Also, too, if you could get better beer, that would be great. You're the oldest brewery in town, and your beer sucks. So if you could sort of pick that up over time, that'd be appreciated.
Pine for the days when we were getting, well, you were getting cut off because you drank like 2 kitty cocktails. And when people were mistreating us at blends.
Yeah.
I'm calling blends out. All bets are off in the quarantine. I'm not polite anymore. Yeah. Blends was very, very rude to us.
Yeah. Blends is an asshole. Remember when that group of people almost beat you to death because you had a bee on your back?
I miss those days. They wouldn't do that now because they wouldn't come close to me because
Yeah, they're like
Corona.
Yeah, they'd be like, unfortunately, that bee's just gonna have to get coronavirus because we're not getting anywhere near it.
So that's a nice summary anecdote, I think, even to perhaps close out on. Was that last summer, Virgil, or was that 2 summers ago?
That was 2 summers ago, yeah.
So 2 summers ago, Virgil and I were enjoying ourselves on our favorite bar patio in town. And Virgil noticed that there was a couple staring at me, like at the back of my head, with this look of absolute horror and just panic on their faces. And Virgil looked across at me, and his face started to look horrified and panicked. I mean, I thought maybe I was about to get shot or something.
You never know.
Suddenly, one of the people from the table came up and they started beating me about the shoulders with a menu, I think.
It was like
jumping out of their chairs because there was a bee.
Yo,
I miss those days.
So do I. It's so crazy to me that people's natural response to a bee is exactly what you should absolutely not do. They're like, hey, that thing might sting you, so let's swat at it and make it fucking angry. Yeah.
But just that people felt like we were all together in that experience. People felt comfortable getting close to a stranger, making physical contact with the stranger over a bee.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really going to put a damper on like dating too. I mean, nobody's going to be able to date for like months.
That's true.
I mean, not that I was out there, dating up a storm, but I was just thinking like apps like Tinder and Bumble and Hinge and all those different dating apps are probably going bankrupt right now.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I wouldn't because I'm married, but
good save.
Yeah, but that's probably true. Those apps need COVID tests because that way, like, if you swiped, left if you like the person?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or no, right. Swipe right.
Swiped right on the person before you met up. Tinder would send you a COVID kit test.
Yeah. That's a great idea. Like, here you go, you disgusting motherfucker. If you want to go on this date, test yourself.
Yeah, prove you don't have COVID. And you have to take the COVID test, 8 hours before the date? Because you need to know that it's fresh and accurate.
And then in order for it to go through, to be approved, you got to, submit the results. And then the person on the other end is like, oh, my God, they're COVID-free.
Yeah, and you have to be holding up a picture of yourself with that day's newspaper. That this was a recent test.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Easy
I think
peasy.
that works. Easy peas.
And romantic.
Hey, nothing says romance like getting a giant brush shoved up your nostril so you can know if you have COVID or not.
To meet a person you may or may not even like.
Yeah, boy. That's a modern romance for the ages.
It really is. Well, Virgil?
Well, Allison, as always, this has been another episode of Nothing Games.
Nothing ventured.
With Allison.
And Virgil.
Bye.
Bye.